Bitch!
Welcome to Unimaginary Friendcast. This is live stream episode number 288. It's a conversation with your best friends, and we are your best friends.
I am Nathan Von Edmondson.
I'm Erin Marie, Betty Davis Jr.
And I am DavidMonster.com.
Yay! And we are here. We have a special guest joining us that you can probably see if you're watching the live stream, but we won't introduce him yet. David's got a shirt on that says Read Dianetics, which will set up our topic for tonight. Backed by popular demand, we're going to be doing another deep dive into the fascinating world of Scientology. This will be led by our very own David Monster, who was in Scientology for many, many years. I know.
Stop saying that. It's so embarrassing.
I think he's still in Scientology.
We'll find out tonight. So for those of you who have not listened to our show before or haven't listened in a while, David was on and off in Scientology for what, 20 years?
No.
30 years.
No, about 20-ish. I've been out for about 20-ish.
And he was declared a suppressive person, which we'll learn what that is tonight if you don't already know. And
yeah, so I got it in my 30s-ish. Wait, go ahead. Yeah, what?
You said you got it in your 30s, like a disease?
Yes, I got it in my 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have been taking questions from the audience on social media. If you haven't been on our social media, at Unimaginary Friend, Facebook and Instagram, we're posting a lot these days, so check us out. We've been taking questions from the audience about Scientology, about David's experience. So we're going to be answering all of those tonight. If you missed out on that, you can definitely type in the comments. Let us know what your questions are. We'll be happy to answer them tonight if there's time. But basically tonight, we're going to be doing Scientology A to Z. Right, David?
Okay.
He says that like that's not going to happen. It's going to happen. One last plug before we get into our news. We have a Patreon account, patreon.com/unimaginaryfriend. We have lots of really cool merch that you can get that we will that you can see on our Patreon account. But we have a lot of supporters. We'd love to have you as well.
Patreon. I don't know how to get on our Patreon. How do you do it?
Patreon.com/unimaginaryfriend.
And that's literally the only way. You have to type it in and you can't find it.
Yeah, you can't just type in Unimaginary Friend.
Yeah, they're trying to bury us. It's very
don't let
political.
them. All right, any news, guys?
Okay, let me give my 3 that people can vote on. And listeners, I'm giving my 3 now so you guys can vote on it. Do you want to hear about Kim Kardashian crack up? That's number 1 for the 12th week in a row. Number 2, the internet was what?
No one wants to hear that.
Number 2, the internet was wrong about Paris Hilton. Do you want to hear that? Mm-hmm. Or number 3, David Monster has fans. So vote now while Erin and Nathan are giving their news. Go.
Is there number 4? The internet got Perez Hilton wrong.
What?
Is he still a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe we'll have to do a report on that.
Is that a man?
It is.
Okay.
But what does Jobies mean? What is Jobies? Jobies!
What Dr. Banana calls her older brother.
Who was a guest on our show.
Oh, yay. They both checked in. Dr. Joe DiNotro and his twin sister Anna DiNotro both checked in. So if you're not watching the live stream, you're not going to see.
I'll go first for news.
Thank you.
So I think I was 4th in line. Basically, our daughter...
For the throne?
No, for kisses on the cheek from our daughter.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, the first kiss on the cheek went to our cat.
No.
Oh.
What?
Me.
It went to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it went to you.
Who do you think taught her?
So mommy got kiss on the cheek from little daughter, first kiss on the cheek, and then the cat. Oh no.
And then our friend.
Then our friend got a kiss on the cheek, a friend of ours.
Ooh, which friend?
Some stranger, some random
lady.
lady gets a kiss on the cheek. Unprovoked, right?
Correct.
Unprovoked kiss on the cheek.
Correct.
And then our cat gets multiple, like many kisses.
Yeah.
And then finally, finally I got a kiss on the cheek from my daughter.
Did you have to trick her into doing it?
I did.
Yeah.
I had to hold the cat up next to my cheek and then drop it real quick. So she actually.
So she loves the cat?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the one and only word she says consistently.
Cat.
Cat.
That's cute.
Yeah. So my news is that our film that we made, Boxes is the title. It's playing in Oregon outside of Portland this weekend, Saturday night. We will not be there, unfortunately, but we're really excited about it.
So if you're in Oregon, go buy tickets and go watch our film.
It's the Oregon Short Film Festival. We are in the Saturday night lineup. We're up for an award for best comedy film. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, we're going to win. What's going to happen?
And it's a drive-in, which I think is interesting and exciting.
Drive-in theater, yeah. It's going to be cool. So,
we had a controversial win, the film did. In which film festival?
we did. In the Global Film Awards for Los Angeles, we won. We got a congratulatory email and laurels. So we're going to promote the shit out of the fact that we won another festival. Cheers to us.
We win them all.
All right. Who's voted? What did we get? 1, 2, or 3? Kim Kardashian.
Not one of our listeners has voted.
Just type in 1 for Kim Kardashian. Type in 2 for Paris Hilton, and type in 3 for I didn't know. I don't remember what your third option was.
David Monster has fans. You guys, do you not care what my news stories are?
No.
Could this happen in America?
I think
Americans don't vote.
There you go.
That is true. All right, David. Pick one.
You guys pick then. Kim Kardashian crack up.
Yeah, do that one.
Do you want to hear that one? Not Paris Hilton. The internet got Paris Hilton wrong.
It better be about Pete Davidson.
Oh, is the Paris Hilton thing because she was like being a DJ at Burning Man?
No. Or number 3, Dave Monster has fans. Oh, wait. Oh, we have one vote.
Wait, is the Paris Hilton one because Paris Hilton is actually Perez Hilton?
All right. No. All right. Dr. Anna Denotro is obviously not listening because she says she has no idea what she's listening for. And so she just says number 1.
That's what I said.
Marika votes for number 3.
Mm.
I think she always wins. Doesn't Marika always?
Tiebreaker. Do number 1.
Really? So do number 1. So not David Monster has fans. Okay, we're gonna say. All right. It's not timely anymore. It's not interesting.
Perfect.
It's not anything. Okay, Kim Kardashian hosted Saturday Night Live. How do you guys think she did?
Good.
Fine.
She actually did really good. She's actually really funny. And she poked a lot of fun at herself and her family.
Is that the one where she did the Jasmine sketch next to the guy she then started banging?
Yes.
Okay.
Pete Davidson?
Yeah.
Yes, Pete Davidson. And Rami Malek hosted the next week. Guess how he did?
Bad.
Terrible.
Oh, it's embarrassing. Like, they should have kicked him out of acting altogether. Like, it was really bad. But I think that actors usually don't do well on, like, actors usually don't do well on Saturday Night Live because they don't know how to, you have that skill, Nathan. You got to fly by the seat of your pants when you're doing sketch comedy, and I don't think they can like.
So
what?
Kim, I'll call her by her first name because we're tight. She's used to reality TV, which is scripted, but it's also on the fly too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. She probably has.
But the funny part of it is that she let everybody make jokes about herself and her family, and it made me like her a little bit more. She didn't take herself seriously, and she was funny.
Good for her.
I don't know what to tell you.
All right.
I don't know. And I read recently that all the family went in on. There was someone that was innocent that was in prison. They got him out. They went in hard on it. So they're doing. The Kardashians are doing good things. I don't know what to tell you.
Are they doing God's work?
They're doing God's work. They're a family of dirty whores, but they're doing God's work.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
All right. So our gold star this week, David is going to announce. David, who is our gold star?
It's Keith Relkin.
And
Poor
who's
Keith. This is our first posthumous gold star, I think, right? Do we know? Do our record keepers
Absolutely
know?
our first. Absolutely.
Keith Relkin, as Tom Cruise will attest, he's on the podcast with us, is a gay Scientologist, right, Tom? He was a gay Scientologist, and he's the gay Scientologist who died. And if you want to know more about him, you have to stay tuned because that's what this episode is about.
How did he die?
You're going to have to find out. It's a cliffhanger because we're talking about it during this episode of Scientology Smackdowns.
All right. Well, congratulations. We'll mail the gold star to him.
We'll
mail it to heaven.
In the 80s? Where is he?
Wait,
where did he go?
He was Jewish. Well, he was Jewish before he was Scientologist. Do Jews believe in heaven?
No.
What do they believe in? Where do you go then when you die?
I don't know.
Would it kill you? Would it kill you to go to heaven? All right.
All right. Jump into the topic for this week. This is Scientology. David, take it away.
Smackdown.
Although, do you think you can give our new listeners a really brief history of your time with Scientology, so they know where you're coming from and why you're such an expert on this topic?
All right, my family.
In a minute or less.
All right, time it. My family got into Scientology when I was a teenager, and I went along because that's what you do, because I didn't know I was really stupid, and my parents kind of raised us to be in a cult because they were very insane. My mother's a gaslighter. I finally realized my mother's a gaslighter. My father was an asshole and a drunk, and I had no shred of self something, and I just would latch on to anything that would have me. So of course I had to get into a cult because that's what I was raised to do. So I got in, and I was in it for a while, but I was somewhat semi-educated, so none of it makes sense, and it goes against all science. And so one day I was like, this is bullshit, so I stopped doing it. And then they found out that I stopped doing it because they keep trying to get you back in. So people contacted me, and they kept contacting me. So one day I said, like, I kept just ignoring the calls and everything. So one day these two women wanted to talk. We want to talk to you. And I was like, I don't have time. They caught me on the phone. I don't know how, because I never answer. And they said, well, we'll come to you. We'll go to coffee. And I was like, no. And then finally I was like, yes, because my friend and I got the idea. I don't know if I can say this. We recorded the entire proceedings.
Really?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that, and I said, Scientology is great. At the time, I didn't really delve into it. I knew that it was kind of cultish and ridiculous, but I didn't know it was as evil. Like, I had seen evil, but I didn't know it was as evil. I knew a little bit of the evil, but I didn't know the full extent of the evil because I never got involved in it. Like I would always, anyways. So then they declared me because I said I don't want to do it. It's not for me.
They declare. What does that mean to declare you?
Oh, well, no. Before they declared me, they called me in and said, you have to be confronted with your crimes. You have to do a committee of evidence, which they call a COMEV. And I said, what? A committee of evidence? Like, and they're like, you have to be confronted with it. And I goes, just tell me what my fucking crimes are. What are you talking about? What do you think I did? And they're like, we can't tell you to come to committee of evidence. And I said, this would be the same as me saying you have to come across town and play a game of Monopoly. That's the same. That's what it means to me to come to your fucking committee of evidence. So they got really mad at me. I didn't come in. They declared me. People started contacting me saying, the Church of Scientology told me I can't talk to you anymore. There must be something wrong.
So you're declared a suppressive person, which means you're not allowed to be a part of the church anymore.
Right. And when you're a suppressive person, it means, L. Ron Hubbard says, you are the source of all illness, death, mistakes, and accidents. So that's why people have to avoid you. That's why all Scientologists have to avoid you, because you'll talk them out of being in Scientology. So
somebody apparently wasn't able to contact you anymore or be a part of your life.
Well, it's funny because like 10 10 or more people contacted me right away after the church told them they can't contact me. And they're like, there's something wrong here. But a few of them did disconnect from me. But a few of them since have left also because it's fucking crazy. And there was a point I was going to make. I forgot what it was. Oh, in the declare, they won't let you see it. They won't let you have it because people would get their declares and sue because it's always full of lies. They have to lie to declare you because if other Scientologists are going to see the declare, the reasons why you got declared, you know, it has to be, they have to make it really serious. Well, a friend of mine's mother saw the declare and she was like, I can't believe he did this, this, and this, and this. And my friend was like, that's not why he got declared, Mom. And yes, it is. You don't know. And she goes, I do know, Mom. I know exactly what happened on that day when he sat down with those women, Mom. I know. And her mom was on her OT levels. So which means she has to go in and get interviewed. She goes, stop, don't tell me, don't tell me. Because my friend had heard the tape. She knew exactly what happened. And they had all these lies. They had all these lies in my declare. What?
You still have the tape?
Somewhere. It exists somewhere. So anyway, so yeah, so a bunch of people like, and it kept growing too. I would hear from different people other lies that were on it, so they kept adding to it and stuff.
Well, do they still add to it now? They're adding. No, he's doing this podcast on February.
Oh, 100%. I sent you guys that link to it. We're on a website. You guys are even on the website because it's evidence that we are anti-Scientology because we did a Scientology podcast. And I'm sorry, Tom Cruise was on his way to your guys' wedding until he found the podcast, and then he was told he couldn't come to the wedding anymore.
Yeah, we did invite Tom, and he was emotional.
So this completely ruined my opportunity to be in a Mission Impossible film.
See, his jet was over, like, I think it was St. Louis, and they made him turn around.
Damn. Well,
I'm so sorry.
We got him here tonight, so that's all that matters.
So yeah, we got him, and he's as natural as ever. he's even more natural than he normally is.
He looks flawless. He really does.
And he kind of looks actual size too.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, have you guys seen him in real life? Because I have, right here.
No, I was really frustrated because when we were in LA, there was a movie that came out called Oblivion that he starred in, and it premiered on a Tuesday evening in, you know, like right on Hollywood Boulevard, right? And in Hollywood. And I read the next day that he delayed the screening of the film over 2 hours, like almost 3 hours, just so he could interact with every fan who wanted to take a picture with him, have him sign something. So I was pretty frustrated that I missed going and seeing Tom Cruise.
You should have gone and seen him. So listeners, what?
Like, that's kind of cool of him, but the organizers of that event must have been really pissed.
No, well, he should have done it afterwards, but he's desperate. He's in desperate need of validation. Listeners, I wasn't going to talk about Tom Cruise, but if anybody wants me to, I'll tell a story about Tom Cruise. If not, I'll get on with it. Do you guys have any more questions before I start?
Specifically about Tom Cruise from an audience member.
Oh.
So if you want to answer that now.
Sure, since Tom Cruise came up.
Will Tom Cruise live forever?
If that person, because you know they say the person who's going to live forever has already been born, because science will do whatever.
You think that's true?
Sure. Well, they can now. They're saying that they've unscrambled brain patterns and they can download it and they can replace your body parts and all that stuff in the next few years. CRISPR has already edited DNA. I reported on this podcast. CRISPR has already edited living DNA. So if someone is going to live forever, it probably will be Tom Cruise, because he'll like claw and bite to get that, because he desperately needs it. I don't want this body to live forever. Do you guys?
Yeah.
You want that body you're in right now to live forever? My body or your body?
I want that body right there.
My body. Everybody wants my body.
There's actually a second part to that question. Can I ask that now?
Sure.
So how much can we credit Scientology for the greatness of his movies, or would the movies be even better if Scientology wasn't taking up so much of his time and energy?
I don't think Scientology takes up any of his time or energy. They free him up and they make sure he makes those movies. Because I don't know if you noticed when he started yelling and screaming and jumping on Oprah's couch, and his movies kind of went, the gross of his movies went down, they immediately stopped him from talking about Scientology and said, "You get back out there and you make movies and stop talking about Scientology."
Okay.
I disagree with the premise of the question. I don't think his movies are even good. I know Nathan loves him. I was going to ask that on this podcast. Maybe we should ask on a future. I don't understand. You have to explain why you like him, because a movie just came on the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch. There's got to be something good about him. I couldn't do it. I think he's awful.
Okay, but like, who cares about that? Because it's subjective, right? Like,
no, I know, but what I'm saying,
these are good. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes he's not as good. It doesn't matter. So he's really famous, and he makes these movies that people love. So how much of Scientology attributes to that? You say not any of it.
Oh. I don't know what Scientology would attribute to that, because it's just Tom Cruise. Maybe a lot, because it probably took away all of his. If he wasn't already a sociopath, it made him more of a sociopath, where it took away all of his self-doubt.
Yeah.
So he I'm the great, because they tell him he is the most important person on the planet. Not one of. They tell him he is the most. So, and he believes it. He believes it. So maybe it does. It made him 100% Donald Trump. Like, it made him the Donald Trump of all actors, 100%. So funny. Possibly, if you like Tom Cruise, maybe you have Scientology to thank for that.
All right.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Hi, David. There are other questions, but we can come back to them.
All right, let's just do the gay way to happiness really fast. Keith Relkin, who won the Gold Star, so he must be a prestigious human being if he won the Gold Star on this program. He was a gay homosexual Scientologist. I'm saluting you, Tom Cruise. And he was training to be a high-level auditor. He was very involved. He was 100% Scientologist. I knew him. He wanted to start.
Is he
at the time he was in his late 40s, early 50s, and this was when this all occurred was the early 2000s up to 2006-ish.
Okay.
Maybe later. I may be getting the dates a little wrong, but we'll look and see. Hold on a second. Okay. He wanted to start an outreach program from Scientology into the gay community, because I don't know if you know this, but the gay community has a very high drug problem, and there's other certain self-esteem problems, and there's a much higher suicide rate amongst the gay community than amongst the straight community and stuff like that. So he was a go-getter. He was a ball buster. He was obnoxious. He was a bit of a bitchy queen. But he was a ball buster, and he got the city of West Hollywood to donate offices for not only a drug rehabilitation program, but for the Gay Way to Happiness Foundation. And are you guys going to ask what the hell's the Gay Way to Happiness?
I was going to ask, what is the way to happiness first, so people would understand the gay version of it.
Well, the way to happiness, and there's Mr. Relkin. If you're not watching, you're gonna just go to hell. The excuse me. The way to happiness itself is 21 moral precepts, and I can read from the book if you want me to. It's things like, it's kind of like the 10 Commandments of Scientology. It says things like, get care when you are ill.
But don't they not believe in the medical establishment?
Oh, they undermine it a lot. But this is the way to happiness is an outreach to get people into the church. So it's like it's part of the love bomb process. Do you guys know what love bombing is in cults? It's when you go, oh my God, Erin, you are an amazing being. Yes, you have problems. Yes, you may not have the success you want, but it's because the world out there, it's because people are against you. In here, we see how amazing you are. And they do that when you first get in. You're amazing. You're a spiritual being. You are all powerful. And we are the only people who have the answer to unlocking that. And they just keep hitting you with that, hitting you with that, hitting you with that. And when you're raised like I was to be in a cult, you latch onto that. You're like, oh, someone cares about me. Like, what's this all? How does that happen in life?
Yeah, I was ready to sign up. Where do I sign up?
Oh, bitch. If Nathan hadn't met Erin, he would have been a Scientologist.
You did say you went in with the test, didn't you? The initial test?
Yeah, I've had a few run-ins with Scientology. One was on the street in London. I was walking down the street and this woman stopped me. She's like, "Can I ask you a question?" I was like, yeah, sure. It's like, "What's your dream?" And I was like taken aback. I was like, wow, like no one's really ever asked me that before. And she's like, yeah, what do you want? Like, what's your hope for life? I was like impressed and moved that some stranger was that interested because it felt genuine. And then the pamphlet came out. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I just went on my way. But I was like, they must be onto something if they're so concerned about meaning.
Yeah.
Dude, and think about that if you kind of went in there and everybody validated your dream and they said, "Oh my God, Nathan, you are amazing. You could be the next Tom Cruise." But people are holding you back. Like if they just kept doing that to you, there might be a party that might be like, "Oh my God, yeah. If I just do this, it'll unlock that." Dr. Anna Banana said it's common in domestic violence too. I'm not sure what that's referring to.
Probably that tactic of,
oh, the love bombing. Yes, you're right, Dr. Anna Banana. And Dr. Dennis Shelgren says, this sounds like a cousin of dialectic behavior therapy. I don't even know what that is. Can you explain that? So do you guys get, so the way to happiness is basically his way of doing a golden, the 10 commandments type of thing. It's just like, like be
for gay.
Yeah.
People.
No, it's the way to happiness in itself. It's like, honor your parents, be of good appearance, take care of your own area, just shit like that. It's just very
how does the gay way of happiness compare?
Well, the gay way of happiness, dun, da, 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 they do us. Yes, I have several copies, and if anybody wants to buy one, let me know because I want to sell them for several thousands of dollars.
So much money! I cannot believe it's because they stopped making them immediately, right?
Oh! We'll get to that. See, on the front it has, and Nathan pointed this out. On the front, this has two boys holding hands. What they do is they have the same innards, but they just print a new cover, and they've done it for like the Black community. They've done it for, I forget. They do it for different communities. So like doing it for the gay community was not a special thing.
Oh, so the contents of the book doesn't change. It's just the cover.
Right.
Kind of
it's just the cover.
Okay.
And then Nathan noticed this. What do you see there?
Was that two ladies?
Two ladies on the back. They don't even get their own cover. He said, what Keith said is I said that. I go, oh my God. And I said, I want that on a t-shirt, lesbians. And he's like, that's not okay. You're degrading the integrity of this. But he said that he's going to do this for the gay community. And when he can team up with lesbians, they'll put the lesbians on the cover for a lesbian outreach.
You talked to Keith about creating this.
Oh, yeah. I helped him. I was in on the ground floor. Yeah. Ground floor, bitch. Yeah, and have the offers come rolling in. I'll sell each one for $1,000. I have like 7 of them. Dr. Dennis Shelgren says, yes, it's psychological therapy that makes you the center of your recovery. Kind of. It's kind of like that. Just stay tuned, Dennis, because it's more insidious than that. Like it puts you at the center, but then it makes you responsible for everything. And that sounds good on the face of it, but no. Wait till we get to the rape trial. All right, so where was I? Oh, so Keith had got the mayor of West Hollywood to donate offices for drug rehab and for a Gay Way to Happiness Foundation to reach out for goodwill in the gay community. He had the Gateway to Happiness, or sorry, I keep saying that. He had the Way to Happiness Foundation approve his program, and they printed up the books. The Church of Scientology printed up thousands of these booklets for him. Okay, to pass out. And he pulled me in to help him launch it. He wanted to launch it with a big event, and I hooked him up with, do you guys know who I hooked him up with? We've talked about it on the podcast before.
Perez
It's somebody
Hilton.
you know. No, it's somebody you know. Somebody that's been on the podcast.
Oh, been on the podcast.
Do you guys remember the outlaw Scientologist?
Oh, Johnny Chait?
Joey Chait.
Joey Chait.
Oh, right,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Joey Chait's parents own something called the Chait Gallery, and it's this. It's one of the most prestigious galleries in LA, and they have all kinds of rich people. In fact, what's his name? He was in Valley Girl. That was his first big hit movie. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage bought a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull from them, but then there was some scandal with it. Look it up on the internet.
That's where he got
Wait,
the
what?
skull. That's where Nicolas Cage got the skull. I heard about that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know if I should have said that. Oh, well, we're all getting sued. We're all getting sued. Oh, well. So anyway, I hooked him up with Joey Chait. Joey Chait's parents have this gallery, and it's a really nice, it's a big, prestigious, very rich gallery in Beverly Hills. The parents immediately said yes because of what we know now. Do you guys remember one of the things that Joey Chait revealed about himself on the podcast? I'll give you a hint.
It's been a while. It's been years.
That he's a homosexual?
Yeah, he's a homosexual gay man. He couldn't talk about it then. They didn't confirm it. Nobody talked about it, but they immediately said yes. Yes, we'll do it. We'll absolutely do the Gateway to Happiness. Because a lot of parents in Scientology even had to outwardly be against homosexuality, because homosexuality is the second worst thing you can be or do in Scientology. It's unforgivable. It's number one. What do you think number one is?
Like
anything
speaking out against Scientology?
Oh, yeah, that's number one. Okay, number two is anything having to do with psychiatry, going to see a psychiatrist or being a psychiatrist or anything about psychiatry. And number three is being gay. And a lot of times being gay would get pushed right to the top. So a lot of parents, I'm sure, I didn't talk to them, but I'm sure that, I talked to them, I met them, but I didn't talk to them about this situation. I'm sure they wanted it now to be okay for their son to be gay, because they did love their son, even though we found out on the podcast that they're not speaking to him anymore. Okay. So I hooked him up. They immediately said yes. And then we were all on board, and I was now one of the people roped in to help set it up. So then Keith, the Gateway to Happiness Foundation printed up all these invitations.
Oh, that's so cool, David.
See these invitations to the Gateway to Happiness. And as straight people, as WOGs, do you guys know what WOGs are?
I don't remember. I've heard it before. Tell me.
It's abbreviation of wise old gentleman, and it's a derogatory term meaning non-Scientologists. Oh, so people will use it they're wogs, and it kind of even becomes like any derogatory term, it becomes really derogatory. You're acting like a wog. I've seen people get in fights because one Scientologist will call another Scientologist a wog or woggy, and it becomes very
it's kind of like muggle. It's kind of like muggle.
It's more like mudblood. But yeah, it's bad. It's a bad word. It's used all the time, but what I'm saying is it's derogatory. So this is a big deal. You don't even know. When people heard about this, I heard people say when word got around, Scientology would be you can't let faggots in the church. They will destroy the church. And I'll tell you later on, someone else said that. So it was very divisive and very controversial and huge, that it would even be done. but it was printed. These were printed up. The books and everything were printed up by the Church of Scientology. And do you see on this invitation how that's blacked out? That part there is blacked out.
Yeah, what is that?
Special guest Ann Archer. She was supposed to be there presenting it, to cut the tape and do everything to present it and get everybody going. 2 days after these were printed and the venue was gotten and we were going to start decorating and getting all the shit in, they told Keith, you have to mark out Ann Archer's name. She is no longer available to appear.
Okay.
That was the first domino.
Okay.
And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, why can't you get somebody else? And they told him no other Scientology celebrity is allowed to attend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, Keith, yeah, this sounds fishy. I go, this is it. Because I go, this isn't going to happen. I told him from the beginning, I was like, are you sure? Maybe you should pass these out. Let's go up to West Hollywood and pass these out. No, you can't do it. They said not to. Like, and I was like, something's fishy. Like, even before we did the event and stuff, like there's a shoe that's going to fall. And he was like, you're just postulating. Oh God, they would say this. Scientologists say the stupidest thing. You're just postulating negative, whatever, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I just know what's going to happen. Like, it's something's fishy here. So then the Chates, there was like 2 or 3 weeks before the event, they went to the Free Winds. Do you guys know what the Free Winds are?
No.
The Free Winds is the ship the Scientology delivers the highest levels on, because it can't be on land when it's delivering these high levels, because everything's very secret and all the information on it is very secret. So I don't think it belongs to any country, so that it can't be, you know, it doesn't adhere to the laws of the land, something like that.
All right.
So that's where you go when you do the highest levels, and people have been on there for like months and months and months. They can't get off because they can't finish this level, and they just keep they make them sell their house and just like put everything on credit cards, and they just keep like punching them for money. Like, I've heard people go there for a week to do something and they're there for 2 or 3 months because they can't finish their course. It's
what about their job? You need to go to work?
Oh, they don't care. They're like, does your grandmother have a credit card? Is there anyone else we can call? Can your wife sell your car while you're here? Like, I've literally heard those words said. Didn't your grandmother die recently? Did she leave you money? Is there any equity in your house, in your grandmother's house, in your father's house, and anybody's house that you can pull money out of? I've literally heard these words said. I went on the Free Winds, and it's like, you're thinking, oh, a cruise ship. It's a little bit in disrepair. It's old. It's not like a nice cruise ship. It's a little bit crappy. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it would be nice if it was owned by one person, but owned by an organization and having to be on it, it's not nice. And they don't go to any of the nice ports. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
Where was I? Okay. So then Joey Chate's parents, who own the gallery, are on the ship. They're there for an event. They're there for a week, and they're going to be back before the Gateway to Happiness event starts. They're called into the president's office, or one of the high officials on the ship, and they're told, you guys are in lower conditions. What you did is not okay. We're going to put you on a what do they call it? God, I wish I had a Scientologist here. We're going to put you on a program, an ethics program. No, like an ethics program to handle. And they're like, what? Like, yeah, you guys okayed this Gateway to Happiness event. And it's not okay. And they're like, but wait, the Gateway to Happiness Foundation said it was okay. Like, the Church of Scientology said it was okay. Well, what happened was we found out later. Wait, let me put it in chronological order. Then we found out that happens, and Keith is told, you cannot have it at the Chait Gallery. That is shut down to you. Wait, can I talk? Can I talk? And I called Joey Chait, and he's like, I can't talk to you. It's shut down. We'll talk about it later. I can't. Click. And Keith is told he can't talk to anyone. He can't talk to the Chaits. He can't talk to anyone. And I was like, Keith, this is what I thought was going to happen. He's like, nah. When Scientologists start freaking out, they say that you pulled in this energy. You counter-postulated this. because it's kind of like act of God, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do anything about demons. So I was like, no, Keith, like, you got to be realistic about this shit. So then Keith was pulled in, and he couldn't talk to me for a couple of weeks. He was pulled in and he was put on lower conditions. Lower conditions means that the conditions are arranged, like everybody's in a condition in life. Like it goes from, I don't know, treason at the bottom up to like power at the top. And a lot of people are in normal or in affluence, or if you dipped below normal, you're in emergency and then danger. Well, he was put in lower conditions because he tried to do the gay way to happiness, and he got West Hollywood to open offices to welcome the gay community. We found out later.
David, it's funny, like it sounds so dramatic, like there's all this drama, and that in itself just creates so much significance. You know, it's so significant.
Oh,
there's so
totally.
much drama, which is like is another way to hook people into like the meaning of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was drama too, because I would talk to people and be like, wait, what happened with this? And they're like, you can't ask that, and that's not okay. Like, it's not okay what he did. One ethics officer told me, it is not okay what he did. It is not okay. And I was like, what? I was pulled in. And I was like, what? Getting the mayor of West Hollywood to open up offices to welcome Scientology into West Hollywood? That's not okay. We don't condone their lifestyle. We don't condone their behavior. Who? And I remember, oh God, Lily, her name was Lily. She was an ethics officer. We don't condone their behavior. Whose behavior don't condone? Homosexuals. Homosexuals are 1-1 and they're covertly hostile. 1-1 means on the tone scale, there's an emotional tone scale that L. Ron Hubbard developed where everyone has a social tone and a chronic tone. And it goes from...
Crazy.
It goes from, it goes from total failure is the lowest tone up through, like there's several steps before body death. And then it goes up through grief and hate and a whole bunch of other stuff, antagonism, all the way up to serenity of beingness at the top. Well, he was put down, and all homosexual, L. Ron Hubbard said all homosexuals are 1-1, 1.1, which means covertly hostile. Do you guys know what that means?
I can imagine.
They're hostile in a covert manner, which means, and he says they will stab you in the back whenever they get the chance. So
I'm going to interrupt again. Ironically, this makes Scientology like so many other religions.
That's true, actually.
Oh, totally. But yeah, totally. So, totally, 100%. But so everyone was pissed off that he was like reaching out to the gay community, which is like, I was like, well, why can't they like, all right. And they would say, go ahead. Yeah.
But someone gave him permission initially to do that.
Exactly. We'll get there. We will get there. So everyone I talked to is saying like, can you imagine what would happen if homosexuals flooded into the facilities? Yeah, it would destroy Scientology. That's what everyone kept saying, because they're 1-1, they're covertly hostile. There's so many people in Scientology that are covertly hostile, and they're usually just a little bit above at antagonism, which is supposed to be like, if you're a notch above someone, it's supposed to be like anyways. It's just stupid. It's so ridiculous and so insane. We found out later that David Miscavige shut it down. Ooh, David Miscavige shut it down, and everyone that had anything to do with it, the people that okayed the book, all the people that had it printed, every single person was put in lowers and punished, and a lot of them were put on something that's called the RPF. The RPF is repair past, I don't know.
Where are your notes from your time in school?
Because you know what it is? I thought I would remember these things, but thank God I'm losing all of my Scientology knowingness. So RPF is you have to wear black all day long every day. You have to work 16 hours a day, and you have to run. You're doing things like cleaning the street and building walls and things like this. And no one can talk to you. And if you talk to someone, if you address someone without being addressed first, you get in trouble again and you have more time on the and people do this. People actually do this. My brother was on it for a while too. And 16 hours
still in Scientology who you can't talk to because you're disconnected, because you're a suppressive
yes.
person.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So wait, it's 16 hours of all these people who okayed the books and put on this project. It's 16 hours of work and 8 hours. Oh no, it figures out to be 24 hours, but it's it's like 12 hours of work and 8 hours of study or something like that. And you don't get you get like 6 hours of sleep. 12 hours of study about how you are a piece of shit and you need ethics. That's what you're studying. And you have to study. And you have to study until, and it takes some people 3 or 4 years to finish the projects.
You have to take
3 or 4 years.
How you're a piece of shit for 3 or 4 years.
Yes. And then you have to pass it. You have to pass the thing. Wait, we have a listener that asked, why punish any sexuality? That's against the sci-fi story. The reason why we think these are theories, because I have heard that, I don't know and I can't corroborate it, I have heard that L. Ron Hubbard's son was a homosexual and it really flipped him out for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
We don't know why, and it flipped him out, and that's when he wrote a lot of this stuff.
Is he still alive?
No, he was murdered, or he died in the desert. He died in the desert in the 70s, and people think he was murdered. I don't know how or why. There's a lot of theory. Yeah, he was driving to Las Vegas, I think, and his body was found in the desert.
Whoa.
And I don't know. Actually, I'm getting, not this part. When we get to the next part, I get a lot of the information from Tony Ortega's Underground Bunker. You got to sign on to that. It's an incredible, like if you're interested in Scientology, it's an incredible resource for all this shit. Everything I told you before on The Gateway to Happiness is what I saw for myself. Oh, and not only that, I talked to my brother who was president of one of the organizations under David Miscavige at the time. So he was a high-level Scientologist. And I said, I think it's really stupid that they did that, because you could have gotten into West Hollywood. You could have gotten another city, because they're all about clearing city by city. They want to clear city by city. And my brother said,
oh, so they
basically
clear is like that documentary Going Clear. So they want to get everything to get to a certain level in the hierarchy of the classes, right?
Well, clearing an individual is that what you're talking about. You get to a certain level. Clearing a city means that it's predominantly Scientology.
Got it. Okay.
There's predominantly Scientologists. That's their goal, is to do that, and they so far haven't been able to achieve that with any city yet. I think that Sunland Tahunga had the highest rate of Scientologists at like 5% or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so my brother, and I told him, you could like clear West Hollywood. You could handle the gays. And this is what my brother said. He said David Miscavige had to shut it down. We couldn't have the orgs flooded with gays. That would have destroyed them. So they're being drilled this. When everyone says the same thing, in Scientology, they're big on drills. So like if you guys do something, like if you do something behaviorally wrong, you're pulled in, you have to do your ethics things, and then you're drilled on how to behave. So when they say, like, you notice if you ever saw the Anderson Cooper where he had the wives that were still in Scientology, he interviewed them, of men that left Scientology. They all said the same thing. They all have the same jargon because they drilled it. So in Scientology, when you get someone, so all of the executives must have been drilled on that, like the gays will flood the orgs and it will destroy the organization. So David Miscavige even has a burr up his ass about homosexuals too. I don't know why, like it would have brought in more money, and I do know why. I know why. I found out why. I know why. Do you know why they have such a big thing against gays? I'm so stupid.
I know why.
Why?
Because everyone in the what's the army version of Scientology?
The Sea Org?
Yeah, like everyone in the Sea Org would be having sex with each other.
Oh my God, they already are. Well, they would like that because they have a super high level of abortions. So if they had gay people having sex, they would they'd just have butt babies, but they wouldn't have to have abortions.
Butt babies. Well, I think that's a part of some of the religious anti-gay sentiment is that they can't reproduce, and religions only flourish when you're like making more and more people. So I don't know if
That's too logical.
Okay, all right.
It's a legal reason. The reason why, and I just want to say that our listener Dennis Shelgren says thank you. That's kind of what I thought. Love to you all, or love you all. So he loves us. So I just want to let everyone know that people do love us. The reason why it's not okay to be gay in Scientology, and the reason why David Miscavige gets behind it 100%, is because L. Ron Hubbard says he can cure Scientology. Anything can be cured. And the reason why Tom Cruise cannot come out as gay and never will, and John Travolta cannot come out as gay, L. Ron Hubbard says he can cure homosexuality. And they've had people go all the way to the top of the bridge, still be gay, and sue the church. The church had to pay them out. So they don't allow gay people, when it's found out someone's gay, they try to offload them. They try to get them off lines because they don't want to have to pay out, and they can't change L. Ron Hubbard's words. They can't do it. And they can't start changing his words or finding out that it's wrong, because if they did that, the whole thing would unravel like a sweater.
Are these people suing because they're like, I thought I was going to learn to not be gay and they lied to me?
No. They're suing because L. Ron Hubbard says he can cure homosexuality, and they did all the steps up above where L. Ron Hubbard says
they were hoping to be
cured
of homosexuality, and it didn't work.
Yes.
Oh.
And they sued, and L. Ron and Scientology had to stop the suits and settle out of court because they didn't want any of the notoriety. They didn't want any of the testimony. They didn't want any of this to come out at all. So they don't let people even get to that level. They don't let people get anywhere near that level where it could possibly be cured, like L. Ron Hubbard said.
My question would be, and you probably don't have an answer, is why the need to cure it? Is it that logical, like, hey, don't be gay because we need more Scientologists, and if you're gay, you're not going to be.
No, it's because they're 1.1s.
Okay.
Because they're 1.1. No, it's because it's all made up by L. Ron Hubbard, and L. Ron Hubbard simply said it. It was his thought. That's all. That's the only reason.
Okay.
That's the only reason. Like, don't try to make logic out of it. That's the only reason. L. Ron Hubbard just made it all up, and that's where it comes from.
There's some evidence out there that he was a little loony, right?
That's not okay.
What does that mean?
No, yeah, you should see some of the video. Like, if you can find video, there's video on him that they doctor and they edit and they spruce up. But when you find video that isn't doctored, you're like, who is this? He is like an alien, like the way he acts and everything. He's fucking crazy. And he was part of certain satanic groups and things like that before he started up Scientology. Like I forget, there's a guy. Anyways, yeah, he was Looney Tunes. And his writing is terrible.
I remember reading, I think it was, I don't know, is Dianetics the first book, like the book?
Yeah, that's the book. Yeah, book one.
It was either Dianetics or maybe it was some pamphlet that I was given where it was like a picture, like a comic book, like picture pages of L. Ron Hubbard, like in very simple paragraphs, like his history to creating Scientology. And I remember one of the panels was him like sitting at a fire, like outdoors with like, you know, Eastern Buddhists or something like that. Like he went around and learned from all the religions and then synthesized it into something that was better than everything. It was kind of the message that they were giving.
He says that. He does that. He said he went around all this, but a lot of things he said he did, like his Army record and his Navy record and his college record, that have been totally denounced by, you know, the Navy says no, he didn't do any of that. The college he went to said no, he didn't even graduate in this field. Like, so he says a lot of stuff. I wouldn't believe anything he said. So I still have half of my report to do.
My God. David.
on Leah Remini and Danny Masterson, the accused rapist, and stuff. Should we cliffhanger it and do that in a second episode and just answer a few questions?
Let's do that. We have some. Can we do the questions that we got?
Yeah, let's do the questions. Hit me with the questions. Like, let's pretend like, huh?
Yeah, and then if people have more questions for our next episode, perfect.
Yeah, but we're already at an hour, so
we'll do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to more Scientology and things I was involved with these things with Leah Remini. I have stories on Leah Remini and Danny Masterson for next time. Now, listen to me. We're going to do this. You guys are Anderson Cooper, and I'm one of the Real Housewives of Scientology. So I'm going to be very difficult to deal with. So go ahead.
David, why do Scientologists compare themselves to Catholics?
I don't know where this comes from. I had never heard that. I had never heard any. In fact, Scientology always eschews other religions. They always demean and degrade, especially when non-Scientologists are not around, when it's just Scientologists. They always pick apart and criticize religion. And L. Ron Hubbard, in all of his writings and tapes and everything, he in fact, being covertly hostile, he makes little, snide little comments about other religions and stuff. So I'd never heard of that, and I don't think they do compare themselves. I don't know where that comes from.
Okay, good answer. This is a two-parter, and I'm going to read the whole thing before you react. Okay?
Oh, I'm going to react.
Why didn't you freak out when you first read Ron talk about tonguing some little girl? And if she found it strange, it was her fault. Is this L. Ron or some other Ron? We want to get our facts straight. No, it's another crackpot idiot named Ron. Of course, it's L. Ron Hubbard. There's no other. That quote is pulled from one of the basic books. I forgot which one.
All right, that was an exchange between Nathan and this guy. And that guy was very sarcastic in answering Nathan. I never read about.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, sorry. I
it would be.
Read that.
Yeah, I have these. I know what's going on with these.
Oh, sorry. Here, you read
so
them.
that's
Nathan will
yeah.
read them.
So that was me saying, like, "Are you talking about L. Ron? I just want to make sure." And he was like, "No, not L. Ron. Some other Ron, idiot." No, it was L. Ron.
Yeah.
We talked about tonguing some girl, and if she better like it.
My fault.
I never read about him tonguing a girl. I would have definitely. They've edited the books, so maybe this person read an older book. There are older books where, oh my God, it's incomprehensible and stuff. They've redone the books and they keep redoing them. And do you know why they keep re-editing them? Do you guys know why? Because if you re-edit the books, no, well, that's one reason. But if you re-edit the books, you can keep hold of the trademarks and the rights to it. If you don't, it goes into public domain. And some of the books should be in public domain already, but they've edited and re-edited them, so they hold the rights to these books.
That's interesting.
All right, but wait, I'm going to answer that. So I never read. I never read about him tonguing some girl, but I have read. He writes a lot about how girls are interested in him and where he'd go. Girls would be really interested in him. There are other things. There's a lot of things that I read that were insane and stupid and ridiculous, and I would like an idiot because they're all about communication. Scientology is like, we're all about communication. We're the only people who really communicate in this world, and you can handle anything with communication. So like an idiot, I would communicate about these things that didn't make sense or were wrong or insane. And it always becomes your fault. They drove me out of Scientology because it always becomes the reader's fault, because L. Ron Hubbard is perfect and everything he wrote, he took time to make sure was perfect. So I left Scientology because of these other things. Had I read that he said that some girl should tongue him and if she doesn't, it's her fault, I would have definitely had a huge problem with that.
All right, same individual asking another question. I want to know why you didn't leave the first time you read L. Ron say he almost got ran over by a steam locomotive on Venus. Venus, for God's sake!
All right, these people think that these things are just like posted on the wall. Like, there's so many fucking books and there's so many fucking tapes. There's hundreds of books and hundreds of tapes and just like so much material. And none of it is easy to read because L. Ron Hubbard is a horrible writer and he loves the sound of his own voice and he just rambles. He rambles and he can't keep anything straight. I didn't read about him getting run over by a steamroller on Venus. I didn't read that. But he talks about past lives and other lives a lot. When he did, I would have a question with it. And what would happen when I would question these things?
You'd have to go to ethics.
You'd have to go to ethics, or they'd be like, what's wrong with you? What are you misunderstanding? There was a time, I'm ashamed to say, that I wanted to believe in past lives and, other lives and things like that. So I gave him, what's the word? I guess I gave him poetic license on some of these things. Yeah. But after a while, I was like even his past lives don't add up, because when he talks about the future or like futuristic societies and stuff like that are far beyond our own, like he can't, like, the spaceships he describes are like our airplanes and stuff. Like, he can't conceive of any technology beyond what he's writing in. He's not a good writer. He doesn't have a good imagination. So I would be like, he says this exists in another society that's far advanced, but that's not even used on this planet anymore. Like, I would know certain things about technology and science, and the Scientologists are wholly uneducated. So I would bring this up to them and they'd be like, we don't know what you're talking about. But obviously that's not true because L. Ron Hubbard wrote it here. And this is, so L. Ron Hubbard writes about like the Markhab Confederacy. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
The Markhab Confederacy is a confederacy of whatever, this sector, and they own this planet. So they're still in effect. They still exist, and their base is on some planet somewhere. Okay. And he talks about it. He's visited this in his auditing, and he talks about it. And I would be like, if this exists, why haven't we been contacted by them? Like, why? And they're like, you don't want to be contacted by them because they own this planet and they've forgotten about this planet. And when they come back to this planet, like, we're in deep trouble. So we have to clear the planet. They would use these things. We have to clear this planet before they come back, or they're gonna, like, we're gonna be up Shit's Creek. So I would just be like, this don't make no damn sense.
So okay, David. So I have two questions personally, one of which I'm going to do now. So I took a tour of the Philadelphia Scientology Center years ago, and if my recollection serves me, there is, well, this is accurate. There was an office that was empty, and there was a desk, and there was a name tag that said L. Ron Hubbard. And they're like, and this is L. Ron Hubbard's office. And I don't know if I made up this last part because it just seems so absurd, but the implication was that at every center, there is an office for when he returns. So wherever he returns, he can go to that office. Is that accurate? Is that the mythology?
All right, first of all, you didn't make that up. Second of all, did you think that was weird?
Yeah.
All right, you passed the test. I guess you couldn't have been tricked into becoming a cult member. Like, because I've seen people go, ooh, when's L. Ron Hubbard coming back? And I even said the same thing. I was like, first of all, like, okay. So wait, he's going to come back as L. Ron Hubbard? Like, I would ask questions. He's going to come back as L. Ron Hubbard? Or, like, he's going to come back as someone else, and you're going to know that he's L. Ron Hubbard.
Like a raccoon or something.
What would she have done if I just walked into the office and sat down? Like, thank you. And just, like,
well,
you know?
They have... Okay, you're underestimating them, Nathan, because they have a whole rundown. They actually have a rundown in effect for whoever comes back and claims they're L. Ron Hubbard. So you would have to pass the rundown for them to award you these things. Yeah, even I like. Yeah, it's good that you. No, totally. Every organization has to have an office dedicated to L. Ron Hubbard. Because he's going to need it. He's going to get to work. He's going to get to work when he gets back, Nathan.
We'll talk about that documentary.
Write down about Target 2. Write down about Target 2 because we'll talk about that on our next episode. We have a listener that says, David, when you left the world of Scientology, did you go through grief counseling? to recalibrate. Goodness, this sounds so incredibly traumatizing, oppressive, and depressing to go through. I didn't go through grief counseling. I sought out therapists, but I couldn't find one that I wanted to talk to. I find, I don't know, like maybe I should talk to you, Dr. Anna Banana Denocho. I found in California, the therapists I talk to, or the people that are really proponents of therapy, I found to be incredibly egocentric and more so than ever. And I found therapists to be kind of messed up too, because I would check them out, check their backgrounds, interview them. I don't know. Like I want to. If someone has answers, I would go to them.
I feel like,
but it's funny.
You need to talk to someone that's been through what you've been through.
So that's what I was gonna say. I had a group of people. We all talked about it, and it was a lot of laughing. That's what got us through. Is a lot of laughing, and it was a lot of pointing out things that we couldn't point out, like that, like The Office and shit. We would laugh over that shit and just be like, "Can you believe this? And can you believe that?" I did have that. I would still, if I could find Dr. Anna Banana Denocho, I would go to a therapist or whatever. If I could find someone with answers, someone that's not a mess. Because I think every human's a mess. And I think I'm in, like, anyways, whatever. I don't know where I am.
Okay. Well,
but thank you, Dr. Nance. That's very nice of you. Go ahead. Yeah, what?
Okay, there's like 2 more questions, and then there's like a few comments that I thought were hilarious and worth.
We can also save them if we need.
That's it. Time. We could save the comments because they're pretty good. But okay, were you aware at any time that David's wife had mysteriously disappeared?
David Miscavige.
David Miscavige's wife had disappeared. Maybe you can give us a little framing of that, and perhaps why she disappeared. Were you ever aware of that information?
No, not when I was actively doing stuff. And I don't think anyone was, because I left before Leah Remini did, and we weren't aware of it until, like, in Scientology, you don't know any of this shit. You don't know anything in Scientology. Like, people say, like, why don't Scientologists leave it so crazy? They don't know any of this shit. They don't know OT3. They don't know a lot of the Venus shit. They just know what they're working on. And most Scientologists are at low levels. They're not at the OT3 and stuff. A lot of Scientologists that are OT3, a lot of people that are at the higher levels. Oh, sorry. OT3 is the Wall of Fire, and that's where all the Xenu shit that you hear about, like where, like, you know, like Thetans were dropped on volcanoes in Hawaii, and the Wall of Fire and all that shit.
It takes a while.
Like, watch
information to come out.
Yeah, watch South Park did an episode on that, and it actually, I found out, is exactly what is on OT3, the levels of OT3. So watch that. You don't know any of this shit. And the people that go through it, the people that get the higher levels, are crazy people. OTs are crazy people, because if you listen to that, if you believe the Xenu story, first of all, you're not educated, because it's anti-science. Like, it refutes all the science that we know up to this point. And second of all, you're a cult member. Like, you're 100% a cult member, because you're like, oh yeah, so L. Ron Hubbard found out that this intergalactic dictator dropped that's why we're here. So you become a crazy person. What was the question?
So basically, David, like,
his wife disappeared.
Oh yeah, so you don't know about that. I found out about that after Leah Remini started talking about it, because I didn't know Shelly Miscavige. I had never met her, but I did know Tommy Davis, the guy who yelled at Leah Remini that made her eventually leave. Because Leah Remini went up to Tommy Davis at Tom Cruise's wedding, and she said, because she was friends with Shelly Miscavige, David Miscavige's wife, and said, "Where's Shelly? I wanted to say hi to her." And Tommy Davis, instead of saying, "Oh, she couldn't make it, she's doing," he said, "Don't ask that. You're not allowed to ask that." And Tommy Davis is Ann Archer's son, is the bitchiest man I ever met in real life. And that's how arrogant Scientologists are. He yelled at her for saying that. So Leah Remini seems like a pit bull. She's a pit bull. So she like latched onto that and she went for it. And she's been wanting to know where Shelley Miscavige is this whole time. When you're a Scientologist, you don't know. I didn't know. I didn't hear about it until Leah Remini. What?
Have they still not found her? Is that what you're implying?
What I heard is that the Leah Remini contacted the police, and the police took it on as a valid case, and then they came back to Leah Remini and said, "Don't worry about it. We got to figure it out." And she's like, "Wait, did you see Shelley? Can I see her? I want to make sure she's okay." And they're like, "Don't worry about it." What I think happened, and this happens sometimes, I've heard this happen with other people. If Shelley Miscavige doesn't exist anymore, I don't know what happened to her, but if she doesn't exist anymore, they could pull out anyone. Like they could go up there, they could pull out any woman and be like, "Here's Shelley," and like they could get someone in the call to just be like, "Yeah, I'm Shelley and I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm working here." Or they could get Shelley, who's so like miserable and upset, they could make her say anything. "Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Leave me alone." Like, so yeah, that's what I heard is they got someone who says they are Shelley Miscavige say that they are fine. Leah Remini's not buying it. She's a pit bull. I kind of have a feeling she will win over David Miscavige. You don't tell a Jersey girl that they can't do something. That I've learned that the hard way.
It's kind of a crazy story.
So Dr. Anna Benotric says, "Oh,
there's Shelley."
We should start the hashtag Where's Shelley.
I think it's
Dr. Anna Benotric wants to have a sidebar with me because she might be able to help, and she has ideas.
Ooh.
Okay, Dr. Anna Benotric, I will. I would love to talk to you.
I hope her idea isn't just to have you join another cult.
Yeah.
I'm ready. If she's the leader, Dr. Anna Benotric, if you're the leader, I will join right now.
That sounds like a really healthy way to deal with your issues.
I think so.
All right. So we went a little over. So we're going to save all the really juicy stuff and the rest of the comments for next week or 2 weeks from now. We will post on our Facebook and Instagram when that date and time is. So definitely follow us and stay tuned. We're still doing the weekly takeovers. We're in David's week now. I have next week. So definitely check us out. We're posting all kinds of stuff all the time. That's all.
Oh. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. See you later.
Bye.
Squeeze the can. You stepped on my line.
Sorry.
Do you have anything you want to say before I do my line, Nathan?
He just wants to say bye.
All right.
No, I don't have anything to say, David.
All right. Squeeze the cans, bitch. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Oh, God. This is so hard. Oh. Wait. Pretend like... wait. Where is it? Wait. Hold on. Oh, God. Shoot.